Hello, and thank you for downloading and attending IBM and IPD's presentation of Automating Life Insurance Business Processes. My name is Steve Fife, and I'm with IBM's Enterprise Content Management Software Group. It's my pleasure today to introduce you to the speakers for our event, Mr. Gary Kay, Vice President, IPD, and Mr. William Hanby, Senior Vice President and CIO of AAA Life Insurance. Mr. Kay will give us a brief overview of IPD, the company, and the Ultera solution. Mr. Hanby will then go on to give a presentation about how AAA Life Insurance used the Ultera solution to great effect. So without further ado, I'd like to turn this over to Mr. Kay. Thanks, Steve.
IPD is a solution provider of packaged ECM BPM-based applications known as Ultera, built specifically to address the unique needs of health and life insurance organizations. Ultera provides a robust technology platform that meets the performance expectations necessary for mission-critical work processes in leading insurance companies. Its ability to scale has been proven in large enterprise transaction processing environments. IPD as a company focuses on satisfying the process automation needs of health, life, disability, and property casualty companies, and has done so for over 15 years. Through this experience, we've developed strong domain expertise, which we leverage in serving our customers. We are proud of our track record and the results realized by our customers, and we enjoy a highly referenceable blue-chip customer base that includes AAA Life, Pacific Life, Sun Life, and many other well-known companies. Ultera is an enterprise-class application consisting of content and process management technologies and discrete levels of functionality targeted at automating specific insurance business functions. Ultera integrates with popular business process management and business rules engines to provide powerful and robust levels of business automation through configuration. Ultera consists of a suite of prepackaged and integrated modules that deliver insurance-specific functions and features to business units. Other characteristics of Ultera include the ability to integrate with current systems and the unique ability to provide specialized process and task-level user interfaces tailored to meet specific process needs. Ultera has been effectively deployed to support the case management and transaction processing needs of key functions throughout a life insurance enterprise, including new business and underwriting, customer service, disability, annuities, and claims. Our solutions are tailored to satisfy the needs of each customer. We work with each customer to clearly understand their specific needs and to determine how best to satisfy their business needs and overcome challenges through the use of configuration and business rules. IPD also provides a wide range of professional services that span the information technology lifecycle. Based upon our customers' needs, our services may involve an analysis of potential process automation opportunities, implementation of an Ultera application solution, and providing ongoing support once the solution has been placed into production use. Our managers and staff have an average of 10 years of experience serving the process automation needs of insurance companies. This experience provides a common frame of reference, helps to facilitate collaborative relationship with our customers, and promotes project efficiency, resulting in rapid, early benefits. IPD focuses on the business of insurance through innovative, functionally rich, technically sound application solutions that drive measurable operating benefits. Our solutions are centered around our product, Ultera, our process automation software, which is proven and leverages leading ECM, BPM, and BRE technologies. Our consulting resources are equipped to take full advantage of the value offered through our software to help insurance organizations achieve their operational objectives. IPD is committed to each customer's success, from planning and solution implementation to post-implementation and ongoing support. And now I'd like to turn the presentation over to William Hanby, Senior Vice President and Chief Information Officer, AAA Life.
Thank you, Gary. Hello. I'm William Hanby, Senior Vice President and CIO for AAA Life Insurance Company. Today I'm going to spend a few minutes sharing our experience with installing the Ultera product from Image Process Design IPD and the PA product from FileNet. Just to give you a little bit of background on AAA Life, the AAA Life Insurance Company is part of the AAA brand. The brand has about 60 clubs within the United States. AAA Life Insurance Company formed in 1999 to increase the AAA product offerings. Today, AAA Life is owned by California State Auto Association, Auto Club of Southern California, Auto Club Group of Michigan, and AAA National. The purpose of the AAA brand is to provide products to our members. Our life and annuity products are primarily sold to the members within the U.S. We have about 45 million members. In addition to that, the clubs offer homeowners insurance, automobile insurance, roadside assistance, as well as travel assistance. Our life insurance products are distributed through multiple marketing channels, which includes life specialists or agents that reside in the clubs. We also have direct sales, which are through the traditional mail channel, as well as contact or call center operations. We do have e-commerce, which is email, as well as website activity. With any company, there's operational challenges, and life insurance company is no stranger to the amount of paper that goes into processing life applications for insurance. When you look at the life insurance, it's very paper-intensive business. We were looking to move to an electronic process. Obviously, the paper provides inefficient process just in the nature of paper in itself. Tracking work is very challenging in a paper process because of the fact that you do have the paper you have to contend with. You also have to look at the individuals or the associates that are managing the work and looking how they're processing their work. So effective utilization of our resources is also challenging in a paper environment. And then also one speed fits all for processing work. When you're looking at a paper process, you can't adjust it in a real-time fashion if you were able versus an electronic process. And obviously matching capacity to the volume of work is always a challenge because you cannot readily see how much volume of work is in your operation at any given moment in time. And then obviously you're monitoring the work based on yesterday's completed activities, and so you're basically working in the rears trying to look forward into projecting what type of changes you need to make to match the needs of the transaction being processed. And as the company continues to expand and we're on a very positive sales growth, we need to have capabilities that match that company growth, and it needs to be flexible and reduce the number of associates that we need to hire to process business. So when we were looking for solutions, we looked for technology that would enable our transformation away from a paper-based process. And I think it's very important to note that technology is an enabler, and it helps our transformation so that we can move away from that paper process. We were looking for an enterprise-wide solution that could be customized for each business entity that we were deploying. And this was an enterprise-type solution, and each business entity needed to have the ability to tweak it to meet their needs. And when I talk about the business entities, I'm looking at an underwriting process, a new business process, the customer service, claims, etc. We also were looking for a solution that was very flexible, and when you look at a configuration or rules-based solution, those provide the greatest amount of flexibility. We were looking to avoid hard-coded logic solutions. Obviously, when you're trying to adapt the business to move forward in the future, having a hard-coded solution is very time-intensive to change, very expensive to change. So obviously, the configuration or rules-based solution gives you the greatest amount of flexibility and provides that ease of moving forward. From an integration standpoint, we were looking for a system or a solution that integrated with our traditional systems that we have, or back-end business systems that we call them. We did not want to have to re-engineer. We wanted to be able to migrate from back and forth, or the user can navigate back and forth between the systems and make it very seamless. And obviously that's a critical aspect of helping your business partner or your user transform into a paperless process. A browser-based presentation layer is very important for us to us because we were trying to avoid having a thick client or a fat client, as you would call it in the technology world. We were looking for a thin client type solution. Obviously, a browser-based provides that. It allows us to deploy changes very quickly. It allows the users to experience those enhancements basically the next time they refresh or next time they log on. And obviously, when you have a browser-based solutions, you're not constricted to the bricks and mortar that you would typically encounter in a GUI type application. So that was key for us, that it had to be a browser-based solution. When you look at the real-time monitoring and reporting, obviously those capabilities were critical for our management staff to look at being able to make adjustments, being able to make changes in a real-time fashion versus in a reaction type as you have in a paper-based solution. We needed to have the ability to drill down on a particular associate or a particular task so that we could understand what changes need to be made. We could resequence work, we could reprioritize work, we could send work to a senior person, whatever the case might be. And obviously when you're looking at the final objective was to have the appropriate levels of document security as well as user security. When you look at an electronic solution or an image and workflow solution, it's really an electronic folder containing one or many pages of documents, and you need to have the ability to set those documents at different levels of security. So critical information is only displayed to those associates with the need to know. And obviously you need to have the ability to make changes quickly so that if you need to expand or contract that user group, you can log onto the system as administrator, make those changes, and proceed forward. When we were looking for how to solve this problem, we looked at putting together a scorecard that had all of our objectives on it. We did an exhaustive search of the capabilities out there in the marketplace, and we settled on selecting Image Process Design IPD and FileNet. They provided the best image and workflow capabilities for core business processes and had the closest match for objectives that we were seeking to move away from a paper-based process. I think some of the things that you look for in a vendor solution is, does the vendor have a demonstrated track record of delivering mission-critical projects, image and workflow for this example, on time and within budget? And obviously IPD has that track record. When you look at FileNet, they're a leading supplier of image and workflow software as well. They have a proven track record. They've been in the business for many years, and they were just recently acquired by IBM, and now they're an IBM partner. So I think together this creates a dynamic solution that's very tough to match. And I think as you look at the process and the technologies combined together, they're very solid, they're very capable, and they're very flexible. And we'll talk about that here in a few minutes. From a project approval perspective, we obtained approval in the mid-2005 to proceed with a multi-million-dollar project. This was a very large project for us, and it was going to span several months. Once we received that approval, IPD had already been engaged with us, but they quickly marshaled the resources to engage in finalizing the scope of the project, the deliverables, and timeline. They brought together the right project management staff. They employed the traditional waterfall methodology, which was used throughout the project. It was very successful. It did allow us to make sure that the requirements and the designs matched up, the coding matched up, and the implementation matched up from the beginning to end. The project team consists of resources from AAA Life, IPD, as well as FileNet. The timeline spanned about 18 months. The project was mostly driven by managing the business. The duration of the project was driven for managing the business transformation and ensuring the business was not overwhelmed with the amount of change. We took about 7 months to implement this after all the coding and testing was completed. And that was really from our perspective to ensure the success of the deployment. We formed you look at all the different teams that were involved in the project for deployment perspective, from an underwriting, new business, claims, customer service, annuities, etc. We formed pilot teams in each one of these areas, and the pilot teams consisted of about 4 or 5 or 6 members of that team. They engaged in the new software, and their focus was to help us ensure that the system was tuned to and meet their needs, the specifications had been obtained. They had an opportunity to go through the training profile and ensure the training was adapted to their department's needs, and they had an opportunity to become the experts in the system. Those periods ran from about 2 to 4 weeks for the pilot team, and then the rest of the team members were brought on. By that time, the pilot team became the subject matter experts, and they made the transition for the other team members much easier and much more successful. And I believe this deployment process, spanning that period of time, helped to ensure the success of the project as well as all the personnel involved. This was a major achievement for our company. The project was completed under budget, on schedule, and met the requirements. Those are typically 3 things that you don't hear in large, complex technology and business projects. And I say this from the perspective that technology and the business, there were 2 projects come together at the same time to ensure the success. But being under budget and on schedule were 2 key items for us, plus meeting the requirements. So it was a very big success for our company. And I believe the project was successful because IPD had the right product suite, they had knowledgeable staff, and it was built upon the FileNet-based platform. A huge portion of this project's success is a contributor to commitment and dedication of all parties involved. And I think you can see that through the thoroughness of the implementation and the success of the implementation. We're now moved into the benefits, or harvesting the benefits as I call it. We completed the deployment and that wrapped up in April. We're now beginning the harvesting the benefits, which I said the project deployment took about 7 months to complete. So some of the initial areas that we deployed are now starting to see some of the benefits of the system. Overall, AAA Life is expected to have an impact on the staffing levels by about 20 to 35%, and that's in the core areas as well as the supporting areas. We're not looking to have a mass layoff. We're looking to have that occur over attrition, but we're also looking to avoid hiring new associates as the business continues to grow. The bulk of the savings comes from the combination of eliminating paper and automating the workflow, which are driving the largest opportunities for savings. Additional savings will be achieved in improving the scanning, obviously the tracking of work, sequencing of work, and reduction in paper handling. From a scanning perspective, we have auto-indexing, tracking the work, giving the management team a better opportunity to examine where the work is at, where the transactions are being completed, and what changes need to be made, if any. Sequencing the work, the opportunity for the management to change the sequence of the work, send it on to a senior individual if necessary, and obviously the reduction in paper is easy to understand as you reduce paper handling. With this process, we have about 70% of our application now coming in electronically, and a lot of the work is being processed electronically because of this implementation. The improvements, more tasks are automated. Obviously, when you look at the new business and underwriting areas, we used to have our underwriters look at the electronic or look at the paper app and determine what requirements they needed, and then put the app back on the table and wait for those requirements to come in. With this process, we now have automated several requirements gathering steps. The application for insurance comes in. As I said, 70% of our apps are now coming electronically via e-app. Once those requirements are received, the rules kick in and determines whether we go out and get an MVR, which is Motor Vehicle Report, or an MIB, which is Medical Information Bureau. The system automatically requests those and automatically receives those. We're also tied in electronically to our medical lab, and so our lab reports come into us electronically. We have a couple other items that we create the requirements on electronically as well, and we can also request an attending physician statement or an APS. Once those requirements are electronically received and processed, then the case is presented to the underwriter for processing. Obviously, with the electronic process, it can kick in automatic follow-up, so if a request is sent out for an APS and it hasn't been received in a specified period of time, the system does a follow-up either through a letter or email, or even can notify an underwriter to make a call to that physician. The system has the ability to send us notification and does maintain status of what's going on in the process. Obviously, our agents are being informed of the status of their application or insurance. The underwriters are being kept informed as well as other associates. We have the ability to track work items, so that makes it very effective for us to know where any work is at any given moment in time, and we can take action on it if necessary, and we can intervene on a manual basis, which typically doesn't happen. Obviously, we have the ability to sequence work. So if a situation arises where we need to reprioritize, we can change that. We can send the work to a seasoned underwriter or a senior underwriter, for example, or a senior life or a service specialist. Whatever the case might be, we have the ability to make those changes on the fly in a real-time situation. What we were seeking was an increasing the number of transactions that each person could process, whether that was claims, underwriting, customer service, billing and premium, etc. This technology is better aligned with the business and supports the business as they transform into a paperless process. And ultimately, we're looking for the savings that we're after that we outlined in the original business case. From a document security and controls, obviously we've obtained those. We have the ability to take individual pages and set those at different levels of securities. We obviously have the ability to make those changes very quickly. And then from a service perspective, we've implemented a one-and-done capability so that as a call comes in for a member for a change in their address or whatever the case might be, they can either email that in to us, send us a fax, and as I said, call. We complete that transaction as it's being received instead of handing it off to a second party or a third party to complete that transaction. So we made quite a few improvements in our overall process flow, our technology capabilities, and the overall thoroughness of the operation and the ability of the operation to continue to expand to meet the needs of the future. In summary, considering a move to electronic process, then you might want to think about selecting a vendor that has a proven track record of completing projects on time. Obviously, in our situation, that was critical to us, and obviously that was obtained. You need to have a vendor that understands how to deploy the products to meet your needs, and that means they have to engage in your business and understand your business. They need to have a solid technical architecture, and that means that they built the solution from the ground up, and it was built with a specific purpose in mind, and it was not adapted or modified or whatever the case might be that you see in some solution. This is a ground-up architecture built from the bottom up. They need to support their product suite after implementation, and as you look at image and workflow, those are not something that you put in today and tear out tomorrow. Those are long-term solutions. They need to take time to understand your business. They need to engage your business, and that's on the technical side as well as on the business side. They have to understand your business as well as you do. They have to have market share. They need to be in it for the long haul, and the market share demonstrates that they have a commitment to delivering solutions today as well as tomorrow. They need to have a solid vision of where their products are headed, and that means that they are going to continue to adapt their products to meet the changing world that we see in the future. They need to have strong technical personnel and good leadership. And those are two attributes that you don't often find in the solutions that you're obtaining, but having good, solid technical personnel that make the right decisions at the right time is very important. And last, they need to understand that being a partner means that they're engaging for the long haul and helping you be successful and helping you drive out expenses and deliver solutions much faster, much quicker, much more efficiently. And they're not just a supplier. That concludes my presentation. I'll turn this back over to Gary. Thank you very much.
Thank you, William. Thank you for attending our webinar today. For more information on each of the participating companies, please feel free to visit our website.